All right, so did anyone recognize the music we just played? Yeah? What was it? You want to grab a mic?
Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars, exactly. That was the Force theme specifically from Star Wars. So we wanted to start with that to kind of set the stage for a journey we're about to go on today. And maybe you can see we're headed deep into space, and we're going to explore how music evokes different scenes and images of space. So let's meet everyone before we begin. My name is Nik, and I play this instrument right here. Who here knows what this is? Show of hands. We got a couple people? Like you. Wonderful. So this is the bassoon. It's a really interesting instrument. It's a woodwind instrument. And I think for me, my favorite fact about space, well, it's not really a fact about space, but I grew up like on the same island as NASA. So I've seen probably like 20 rocket launches before. So this is a topic that is like really close to me.
You're lucky. Nice. My name is Ruben. I'm a violinist. Let's see. Favorite thing about space. I think something we take for granted is how beautiful it is when we just look up at the sky, right? We can see the moon. I mean, how crazy is that? So it's important not to take that for granted and kind of just go with just admire the mysteries that are out there. Even, we can see it with our own eyes. So.
Hey everyone, my name is Cort, and I play the French horn. And I guess my favorite thing about space is that there's just no gravity up there. Like, that's completely different from how we live our lives down here. And another thing, there's so many more people traveling to space these days, right? Like rockets going all the time and billionaires just taking joyrides up to space. So maybe some of you in your lifetime will experience what it's like to be in space. Who wants to go? Anybody? Yeah, how could you not, right? Something we all probably have in common.
Hi folks, my name is Joanne and I play the piano. Today we're using a 9-foot grand, and this is the biggest size a grand piano gets, definitely about twice my size, I think. One of the coolest things about space for me is the mysterious wonder, and in particular black holes, because they're super creepy, right? So black holes are formed when stars collapse at the end of their life cycle, and then they're sucked in with other mass forms around the black holes. But visually, I don't know if you've seen a telescope photo of a black hole. It's actually beautiful because there's this black hole in the middle, and you see all of this whirling movement from all these sparkly stars. Some are dim because they're dying, and then some are still super bright. So it's this beautiful, beautiful picture. And then who knows where these stars end up disappearing into, right? Where does the black hole lead?
Who knows? Well, now that we've met everyone, I think it's time to begin our journey. So for hundreds of years, composers have written music that captures kind of like scenes and feelings of being in space and like kind of being really far away from the rest of the world.
I think music can really capture the idea of space because it's so abstract and it's so unknown that, music is that way too in a sense, right? It's something you can't see, but it's there and it makes you feel a certain way. So that's really powerful. So the idea today is that we're going to take a journey through space. We're going to make a few stops, musical stops along the way. And the best way to get to space from Earth. Here we go. So our first piece of music is going to kind of give you an idea of what it feels like to, launch into space. And you'll hear a lot of kind of building up that expectation and energy gathering, and at one point it'll just soar once we surpass the Earth's atmosphere. So we want to hear from you also what in the music kind of sounds that way in a rocket launch. So afterwards we'll talk to you a little bit.
Perhaps some of you will recognize this piece. It's pretty well known, but this is also Sprach Zarathustra by Richard Strauss. Today it's a rocket launch.
Thank you guys. Yeah, I want to get a few, answers here. What did you hear in the music that made it feel like you were just launching from Earth? We'll get a mic in a second. Here we go. Yeah.
The switch from minor to major, and growing in sound.
Right.
The dynamic.
Right. So we have a few spots where we kind of attempt a couple of times the launch, and then at the end, as you're saying, kind of the major to minor, minor to major, and then we really go on the third try, or fourth try actually. Yeah, cool. Nice. What else? Another thought over there?
One thing I noticed was anticipation. How it starts to get louder and then it gets softer again, which I found really cool.
Yeah. How did Strauss build that anticipation? What was he doing with the instruments? Did you notice anything in particular? I think at the beginning there's this roll in the piano that kind of this rumbling, right? With everything else is going to happen on top of that, right? But before we have this kind of anticipation building. So yeah, I like that. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Cool. So that's going to be a big theme for today, is kind of thinking about all the tools that composers have at their fingertips that can really create all these magnificent pictures and scenes from space, and specifically how they're doing that. So I have a question. Now that we've left the Earth, where do y'all think we should stop first? Any thoughts?
Heard it.
Yeah, I heard the moon. Yeah, we should spend some time on the moon, right? Let's see it. Look at this big, beautiful, real picture. It's probably not real. I don't think it really looks like that. But for today, it does. So we all know what the moon looks like from down here, right? We've seen it. Sometimes it's big and orange. Sometimes it's really small and just a half crescent or something. But how many of us think frequently about what the Earth looks like from the moon? That's a different sort of thought. Anybody wondered what it would be like to be up there on the moon? Yeah. Maybe some of you will find out someday. I hope so anyway. So we have another piece of music now that we're going to share that we really think captures the atmosphere of what it would be like to be on the surface of the moon. And we'll be curious to hear your thoughts as to what you're hearing. Like, what did the composer use in the music to create this? What captures it specifically? This is a piece called Cosmos by Alan Silvestri. Here we go.
All right, so hopefully our imaginations are spinning now. So I have another question. What in the music that you just heard sort of reminds you of or makes you feel like you're on the moon looking at that view of Earth? Yes, let's grab this side first.
The airy tone of the violin, it reminds me of like how there's no gravity on the moon, so you know, just like that floating feeling.
Mm-hmm. Right, absolutely.
The piano, you was going very gentle with it in the beginning, so like you're not like in space, you see so calm and looking at the beautiful stars and seeing the earth, like the whole beauty of it.
Right.
So nice gentle calmness.
Right, there's like this wonder sort of that you feel from that, right? Now there's this middle section of that wasn't quite soft, it got pretty wavy and crazy in the piano. That reminds me of, because I'm sure standing looking out in space, it's not all just beautiful and wondrous. There's some fear, right? At some point, it's a little scary, which is one reason I never want to go to outer space. I think it'll give me a little breakdown. But that small section sort of reminds me of that. Oh my God! Wait, where am I?
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming. Yeah. All right, now. After this inspiring stop at the moon, it's time for us to fly out further into space. And hopefully we'll bump into some planets along the way. Now we have a piece of music that's going to help us feel like we're actually flying through space. And it was composed as such. It's called Timeless by Martin Villiger. All right, boys. Now, before we fly any further, I'd really like to stop by a planet, and I think I see one off in the distance. What planet is this? You gonna scream it out? Mars. Yes, yeah. Mars. The color sort of gives it away, right? So Mars, any facts about Mars that we know?
Anyone want to share a fact? Yeah, we got one back here.
The gravity is unstable on Mars.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's definitely different than Earth. Gravity is totally, yeah.
Anyone else?
Any other facts that we know about? Anything we know about Mars?
It's closer to the sun, so it's hotter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hotter during the day, colder at night. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got one more.
It used to have water.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it still has evidence of ice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's why some people want to move there. So nope. I know Elon can have that. I'm good. Yeah, I think for me one of the coolest things is that it's it's such a striking color. It's like this very rich red because of the iron oxide or rust on the surface, which I think is so interesting. But does anyone know where the name Mars comes from? You got someone in the back here? Yeah. Saw your hand first.
I think it's from Latin or Roman mythology or something.
Absolutely, yes. Roman mythology. Mars is actually the Roman god of war. So I was thinking we're going to play a piece called Mars that was kind of based off the planet. So I was thinking let's learn this rhythm that you'll hear a couple of times and try to have a battle between the two sides of the room. All right?
Yeah, so Nick just mentioned we're going to play this piece called Mars. How many of you have heard of the composer Gustav Holst and his Planet Suite? Yeah, a few of us. So perhaps you knew we were heading in that direction today. But we're going to play one of the movements, Mars, and it's got this rhythm that's just repeated over and over and over throughout the piece. Now here's a little musical vocab. It's called an ostinato. Anybody heard of ostinato before? Yeah, it's just like this rhythm that's just relentless, ongoing for the entire piece. So we're going to learn it. I want to take this side of the room, and that side of the room is going to be with Nick. So for you guys, here it is. There we go. And there we go.
Very nice. Now this side of the room is going to be easy. All right, one more time. And once more. Rock and roll.
They got the easy job, huh? All right, so here you go. This is how it's going to go. Join in when you got it.
What if they stomp it?
And let's remember that this is a battle now that you have all learned this. So let's see which side has really got it down. You can stomp if you like on this side.
Get
Let's
some energy going.
Get some real amped up sound going in
See
here.
you have a battle who can be the loudest.
And maybe towards the end of the battle we'll do a nice accelerando, you know, just to like infinity until it all falls apart, like most battles do, I suppose. All right, here we go. Ready, go.
There we go. All right, nice,
Pretty
nice.
Pretty good. Now that felt like a battle to me. Cool, so we're gonna play this piece now, Mars by Gustav Holst. See if you can track that rhythm as we play throughout, that ostinato. And also curious if you hear anything else in the music that really captures the essence of this angry red planet that some people wanna go live on for some reason.
All right, let's hear, what else did you hear in the music that made you imagine this angry planet and war in general? Yeah, go ahead.
The piano, like playing that like angry beat
Yeah.
that we were just playing, it makes me think of like
the ostinato rhythm is so powerful throughout the piece, right?
Yeah.
What else did you hear on top of that rhythm that kind of contributed to that? Let's get another. Yes, go ahead.
I noticed that you guys were like going against each other.
Okay.
Yeah, so it kind of felt like a war between the two instruments.
Yeah, definitely. There's a section that I think might be the one you're thinking about where Cort and I just kind of battle it out, just go against each other. Maybe we hear that by itself? Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Maybe that's it, right? Cool. Awesome.
Who won that battle?
The horn always wins, right?
Even pointing the wrong direction.
Let's get one more answer just to, yeah, go ahead.
The fact that it was in 5/4 made it feel very imposing and large, and like it would be difficult to move the.
It's a little bit uneven, right?
Yeah, because 4/4 feels like you're going someplace, but 5 kind of keeps you steady, like a plan.
Mm-hmm. And I think just to go along with that idea, the deeper message in the piece is 5. A way you can divide a 5-beat measure is 3 and 2, which was actually how we started with the battle, right? 3 beats, 2 beats, 3 beats, 2 beats. So then that's kind of ongoing. Ta-ga-da-dum, bum, 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 ba-ba-bum, bum, 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 bum. Yeah. So yeah, that's great. Very sensitive to answer as well. That's awesome.
I think for me, one of the coolest moments where that happens is at the very end, where Holst has us just playing
fragments.
A single pitch, fragments of that 5/4. So we have ba 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 bum, bum bum bum, bum bum bum, ba 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 bum, and so like we're having there's always a 2 against 3, which I think is really really interesting to see and hear.
Awesome. Cool. All right, we're gonna keep going along, flying further, and we have another of the amazing planets. This one's massive though. Here we go.
Hey, I think I heard it already. What's the planet? Jupiter, that's right.
Jupiter.
Who knows any facts about Jupiter that they can share? Yes, in the back maybe, and then the front.
It's big.
It's huge. Yeah.
Huge.
It's the biggest planet
Definitely big.
of all of the planets.
The little red dot there is just like a super large storm, and
Right.
it's starting to die finally.
Yeah, that's
Really?
right.
I didn't know that. That's cool. I think just to show the massive size of Jupiter, the red storm is bigger than Earth.
Yeah.
Also, like, it's a gas planet, so you can't stand on it, like, physically.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So obviously humans can never live on it. Unlike Mars, Mars is what we call a terrestrial planet, so we can actually walk on it, hence Elon Musk. But this one, we cannot live in it, and like you all said, it's completely made of gas. So all of those different layers of colors that you see, even that red dot, they're all gas storms. And it just happens to be that red dot is the biggest gas storm of the planet. And we call it either a gaseous planet or a Jovian planet. And Jupiter comes from the name of a Roman god of
King of Gods.
King of Gods, yeah. So it's like the equivalent of Zeus, right? So Zeus is Greek, Jupiter is Roman. Now, looking at these layers, we see a lot of different colors. There's like a reddish color, a brown, we see white, and then we see layers where all of those colors mix together. So as we're playing the next excerpt, which is from Jupiter by Gustav Holst as well, I want you to listen out for how the composer can utilize instrumentation. So each instrument that we have here have, number one, different range, different timbre, different color, the ability to play louder or softer, it's all different, right? So as we play, we're going to add on one instrument at a time. So I want you to try and listen out for what sort of layering effect or musical layering effect that creates. And then I also want you to think about maybe which instrument represents which color or which layer in the picture that you see here. Sound good?
I'll start us off and we'll add one person at a time. Cool, thank you guys. So we'll take some answers about the layering and which color each of us might represent, or the combination and how rich that can be, right? So any thoughts on that? Go ahead, yes. We'll get a mic really quick. Yes, go ahead.
I would say the violin will be like the red dot, because first you had like, you was on the E string and you was on first position. I was like looking at it. And you was going like soft, slowly. And as like the storm getting bigger, so getting higher and higher on position on the E string. And so like a big storm was coming, getting louder and louder. And you're getting like longer string strokes, longer bow strokes, and like your rhythm can get faster and slower each time around.
Interesting. So yeah, the whole journey of how we were showing the adding of instruments, you kind of were attuned to that. So yeah, that's cool. So kind of something developing in the layers as well. Awesome.
What color would the bassoon be? Yeah, over here. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, do we have?
Yeah, we have it in the front here. Sorry.
Okay, I think the bassoon would be the orange stripe that's like almost directly in the middle. And the piano would be the brown one that's to the left of it. Like they made up the middle of it, like the midsection and I feel like you guys were like central to it. And then the horn is the red stripe, and it really added the grandness to the sound.
Okay, so this is the horn, right? Got a laser pointer. Is this the horn? And this is piano? Bassoon. Okay, and then which one's piano? This one? Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Sorry.
You know what I like to think of when I think about like what the composer did musically, and also looking at this? Like if you have one instrument by itself, like can you just play a couple notes? Real quick? Yeah. And then you have another instrument that creates sound a completely different way. This is like that idea of like, what color do you get when you mix, yellow and blue? What color?
Green.
You get green, right? So instead of just like yellow and blue next to each other, like green emerges. So I like to think of like the two stripes, like where they meet in the middle, like if you guys both play or something. Yeah. That's no longer yellow and blue, it's green now, which is really cool. And that's like definitely like a compositional tool as well, like mixing the colors of different instruments. Like I always like to look at this picture and I think that like my bell looks like that storm. Anyway, but the idea that like each instrument brings a color, and when we all put them together, it like layers and like makes new colors, which is a really cool musical tool as well.
Amazing. All right, we're gonna keep moving. We're gonna fly further into space.
But it looks like we've hit an asteroid field. So I think we gotta fly through it, and hopefully it doesn't knock us off course. So as you're listening, just think of how this music kind of like makes it feel like we're being battered around and asteroids are hitting the spaceship, and you know we're scared. Thank you. So did anyone hear the asteroids kind of hitting our spaceship? Our proverbial spaceship anyway. Yeah?
Yeah. When it was the first part of that arpeggio, it kind of represents how like the asteroid is just throwing at you and you don't know what to do. So it was just like, it's just throwing at you.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're like, it feels like, for me, at least at the very beginning, having this musical, I guess, motive, having that going on over and over again, it feels kind of like I imagine like rocks hitting the window, and you know that feeling of like it's never going to end almost. Absolutely. Anyone else want to share anything? Yeah, in the back right here.
Yeah, it was the arpeggiated staccatos that made it seem like a bunch of little things, and the piano did like one large hit at the beginning that was probably like a large asteroid that shook the whole shuttle.
Absolutely, kind of got rocked there. Well, I think that was actually the hit that maybe knocked us off course. So we're headed deep out into space right now.
Yeah, and these are, I'm going to show you 4 pictures here, which are just breathtaking. It's just insane, just how beautiful this is. These are some of the images that we've gotten with telescopes from here on Earth that are the furthest ever that we've ever been able to see. So, and just imagine what else could be out there that we just have never seen. The mysteries are endless. But yeah, so every time I look at these, it's just, yeah, so beautiful.
Yeah, the moon picture we showed you earlier, that was totally fake, but these are real.
These are real.
Have you all seen those before? Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah,
It blows
cool.
my mind.
So also when I look at these pictures, they're a lot weirder somehow than when you look at the moon or when you look at planets. That those are kind of more concrete things, you know, simple. We're used to seeing them, but these shapes and these colors are kind of foreign and unknown, right? And a little more strange in a way. And we think that there's music that kind of shows that as well. So we're gonna play a piece of music for you guys that we think matches either any of these pictures really well. The music is gonna be a little bit more dissonant, more abstract, a little weirder, more like contemporary sounding. And we want you to think of one picture in your head to match that piece of music. So yeah, we're gonna take a vote afterwards and kind of we'll go into detail. But for now, just listen through and pick one picture to go along with that music.
Okay, so at the beginning of this piece, there's usually like a suspended cymbal roll that happens, but we don't have one. So I was hoping, if it's all right with everyone, we could use this kind of like a shh sound to get that suspended cymbal. Can we do that once? We'll get a little bit louder and then softer again. Can we try that?
That was great.
Great, thank you so much. Sorry, we forgot to bring our suspended cymbal. All right, that was our dress rehearsal. Now it's time to do the performance. Ready?
And before we do that, here's a big presentation. This is Joaquín Rodrigo's A la Busca del Más Allá.
All right.
Cool. Thank you, guys. All right, let's take a vote. Just a show of hands for number 1. Okay. All right, not so popular. Number 2. Let's take a vote for number 2. Good. Okay. A little more. Number 3. Show of hands. Not bad. And then number 4. Okay. We're going to go with number 2. Here we go. Full screen. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. All right, so those of you that voted for number 2, let's get a volunteer from you guys, cool, to tell us a little bit of what you heard in the music that you matched kind of directly to this picture.
Okay, like during the whole performance, I felt like it gave me like solitude a little bit, like a feeling of loneliness, and like in the beginning was like settled. And then it grew like huge. It became like more powerful. And I feel like it's small, but it's like in this huge universe by itself. So I feel like because it's like a small thing, yeah, and it's like in this huge like universe. I feel like that's how the music made me feel.
Yeah, and it's definitely all about perspective. I don't even know how huge that is. That might be like massive. Yeah, but yeah, they call this the Caterpillar Nebula, and yeah, I can feel that kind of like caterpillar being very dangerous also.
Is there any way that like a composer can create something small in like vast space? Like, does that happen anywhere in here?
Yeah, I can think of one specific moment where I play alone. I don't know if you remember that line. And then it kind of, the line kind of goes pretty much like a caterpillar. I'll just play it really quick. Something like that. Right. We have that kind of motion in the music, and it's alone, so it kind of...
But with like the pulsing of the piano beneath it, like
that's
with the pedal, like it's just like something so small but so lonely out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get a couple more answers. That was great. Thank you. From the people that voted for number 2. There were a lot of you, so we're happy to hear from you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna point out your solo part, which made me think of number 2 a lot. And because you go so high and play really softly, I thought, yeah, like something like really small, just like traveling alone.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe we hear that with the piano as well, just to kind of hear that one more time. What you were talking about, Cort. Yeah, I think that's a really good depiction of what's in the picture. Cool. All right.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy stuff.
Very.
Yeah. So the last thing we're gonna do together is, so just now we listened to the piece first, and then we matched a picture to that piece of music, to an existing piece of music. What I want to do now is actually the opposite. So let's pick another one of these pictures. Here we go. Another one of these 4 pictures, and then we're going to come up with a piece of music by ourselves. We're going to compose together with your help. So what was the runner-up?
I think 1.
1 was the runner-up, right? Okay. We're going to go with number 1. And let's get a few answers here. If you were to break down this picture into 3 different elements, 3 separate things that make this picture what it is, what would you separate it to? And then we can kind of spread that out around the ensemble. 3 different elements. Yeah, in the back right there. What would be one of them?
I think the final element would be collision, because something's obviously colliding and creating a large amount of light.
Collision. I love that. That's great. Yeah, nice. Imagine how much force is needed for something like that to happen, or right? It's so mysterious. Collision. I like that. Another element.
I would say that, you know how, I forgot what it was, but I think when stars are gonna like collide into each other, they like rotate around each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, that.
Cool. So a lot of movement, even related to collision as well. Great. Let's take a couple more answers right here. Yeah.
I'd say the colorful feathered edges at the end of
Nice.
the figure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great. So
They get darker and fade out
Mhm.
after becoming different colors.
definitely. Great. So the colorful nature of it and how it kind of spreads at the end of each wing, I would say. What else? One more. Yeah.
I was gonna say like intensity, maybe, because I mean, if you were to see that, it would probably be intense.
Right. Okay, cool. So let's organize this. So we have the collision.
Yeah, let's start with that one. Does anybody have any ideas right off the bat for how we up here, or you perhaps, could help us like create some sort of collision musically? Yeah, right over there. Haven't heard from you yet. Oh, yep.
It probably has to be like sudden, you know what I mean? Because this collision, it's creating some sort of explosion, sort of.
Cool.
So yeah, I think it has to sound like grand, like off the bat.
Are we colliding, any of us, or like, do you want two of us to collide somehow musically, or? Yeah. What do you think?
We just huge chord at the beginning, and then we.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Can we like improvise something here real quick?
Sure.
Let's see.
Okay, so that would be the collision. We start with that, and then we move on to the next things. Maybe
what else do we got?
The wing quality, kind of if we focus on how the color looks at the end of each wing.
I feel like I could do this, kind of like with just a wispy.
Cool. Maybe I can add on the other end something more brushy. Something like that. I mean, they're contrasting for sure, but cool. All right, so we got that idea down.
I think if it were to fade out.
Fading out. as well. We'll do that for sure in the run-through. Okay, and then what was one of the ideas to?
Somebody said like rotating, right? Which I find that's like a really interesting concept musically. Like, what can we do musically to like get this feeling of rotating? Anybody have a thought?
What I'm thinking is like one of you guys start off, then pass it off to the next, and then bring it back around in a circle.
That's cool. Yeah, like if we like pass like a note around in a circle or something.
Maybe Joe can start us with that.
Sure. Yeah, let's try it.
With maybe that.
Yeah. Let's see.
Something like that? Okay. So I definitely hear the rotating and spinning aspect of it. Cool, I think we got a piece.
I have one more element to add.
Okay.
Can you all, I don't think there's actually wind in space. But if there was, let's just imagine there is, because we don't know for sure. Maybe out here there is wind. That looks pretty windy to me. Can you guys come up with like a space wind for me right now? What would that sound like? No shame, let me hear it. I like it. I like what I'm hearing. So how about we do this? We're gonna do our composition. We're gonna collide. There's gonna be some butterfly wings, some rotation, and this whole time you guys are gonna just bring out that space wind for us. And this is gonna be recorded and released on Spotify in a few weeks, so give it your best.
We'll give you credits, don't worry.
I have an idea.
Okay.
What if we get one volunteer, whoever's feeling brave, to conduct the entire performance? So you're going to be in charge of the explosion at first. You're going to be in charge of like telling us how to play the butterfly, and then the spinning, and then the wind. You want to be the conductor?
Yeah.
Come up. Let's do it.
Yes.
You can stand right here. You want to stand right here? So remember the explosion. Then the wings, then the spinning, and you can conduct everyone else. Careful with the mics, but you can conduct the wind as well. So
you can bring
we're
people
following
up.
Here we
if
go.
you want people to get louder, you can bring them louder, make them soft. All up to you.
Be quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Woo! Good job. Yeah, there you go.
Yes. I see a future conductor among us. Incredible.
That was pretty cool.
Wow, amazing.
Pretty cool.
That was really, really fantastic. So we're kind of a long way away from home, so we got to get back, right? And also thank you for dealing with my narrative of us going on a spaceship. I really appreciate it. So we actually have a piece of music that we want to play for you to kind of get us back home. So you might hear some of our stops along the way. Keep an ear out for them.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much for joining us today and for coming all this way. Appreciate it.